You're listening to the Super League pod, coming up on episode 167 of your favourite Rugby League podcast. We have news from around the world of Rugby League. We look back at the semi-finals and finals of the Rugby League World Cup. We touch on the Women's World Cup as well as a massive quiz that Mark may or may not do very well in. You'll have to listen. And we also talk about plans for the festive edition of our podcast. Strap yourselves in. It's time for your favourite Rugby League podcast, the Super League Pod. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this third World Cup special edition, episode 167 of the Super League pod. Tom and Mark here, as always, getting to the very, very end of our season now, Mark, with a real celebration of Rugby League. And we're going to be going over things, but how are you?
Might be our first December show that wasn't a Christmas show, I think.
Yeah, quite possibly. We've got this Christmas
special. It's been a long
special.
old season, hasn't it?
It's been a march through. It's been a fun season, hasn't it? But we've definitely reached the peak. We've definitely reached the climax now, haven't we?
Yeah, like I wouldn't want to say it's the peak.
No,
I don't like to think the peak is the most devastated I'm going to feel all year.
Yeah, true. But it's certainly reached a dramatic conclusion this season, and of course we're going to be talking about the World Cup in great detail this week, touching on the semi-finals and then paying a lot of attention to the World Cup final itself. We've got a lot of news to go through as well, as we've been doing over the last few weeks. Not going to focus too much on feedback and shout-outs because after a fortnight some of the stuff
not really had much.
Exactly.
Anyway,
we've not had a right lot.
Not a load.
People are taking a bit of
a few people getting in touch before the games and stuff.
Yeah.
But not like...
Exactly. It's been back and forth on Twitter rather than stuff to go into.
These shows don't get as many listens as well as the...
These are for the specialists.
We don't send... I don't send dozens of tweets out.
You've got to want it, haven't you?
Yeah.
If you're listening now, you must have wanted it.
Yeah.
So we're really pleased that you are listening along with us. We've caught up a little bit off air, Mark. But how are you? How's your last couple of weeks been? Anything exciting going on in the Mark household?
We've got a Christmas tree today.
You have?
That's waiting to be decorated.
I noticed that you've gone for a Christmas tree that fits nicely into your house.
It is the first real size appropriate Christmas tree we've ever had in this house, isn't it?
Well, I say that because we have gone the opposite way.
Have you so?
In our house, yeah. It's it was only 25 quid. That's its saving grace, but it's far too big for the room. I'll show you a picture. I did post something on Facebook, and I might have to tweet this out now that we're talking about.
Well, you should do, yeah. I won't tweet out our naked tree.
No, yours isn't decorated quite.
Undressed in its state of undress. I won't want to embarrass it such. But normally Emma goes for one that really spreads itself out. And my Emma.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see those pictures. Yeah.
Well, it's fallen over twice since then, such as its weight and centre of gravity. So yeah.
So you've had it set too close to the wall because there's not enough floor to set it out.
Pretty much.
That's not normally we're like cutting off the back end of ours.
Well, we haven't pruned it. We've just cornered it
so that it can fit.
Right.
But this year we bought one that was slightly smaller than what we normally get.
It's a lovely tree. It looks good.
And so, yeah, it'll get decorated at some point.
Are you feeling festive yet?
Only in the sense of I ever feel festive,
right.
To be completely honest.
Nominally festive.
I'm busy at work because everyone keeps having days off to go Christmas shopping, so that means we're always busier because we're always lower capacity and all that business. So it's a struggle to feel fully festive, but you can see in front of you I've been getting Christmas gifts together.
You have. You're getting right amongst it. You've been very well prepared, aren't you?
And yeah.
Bravo.
How about you?
Doing well. Started a new job earlier this week, which is going well.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's the kind of the big.
This new job isn't going to compromise our show as much as the old one did.
No, because it won't involve working with foreigners, Mark. So I don't have to be sporadically at the office late at night.
You don't mean foreigners in the sense of... You mean people in other countries.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I don't have anything against them.
Just to clarify.
To clarify my accidental xenophobia there. No, I have absolutely nothing against foreigners at all. Some of my best friends are foreigners. to other people. But my previous job did require me to work late in order to speak to people in America and South America and places like that. Whereas now I won't need to do that. So, no, it should be far easier to get out episodes on a regular basis without having to chop and change them all.
Without late afternoon texts saying bosses have asked me to stay late.
Exactly, because there's nothing to stay late.
I'm very excited about this.
So well, I figured that you would be the another one of the hidden victors.
Yes,
in
definitely.
my change of employment. So I'm very pleased. And other than that, yeah, we've been getting ready for Christmas. Tons of Christmas shopping. I actually went over to the Christmas markets in York a couple of weekends ago. The weekend after we recorded the last show, and that was thoroughly enjoyable. I would recommend that to anyone who's in that neck of the woods, getting through to York and seeing those. If you're feeling festive, I prefer that to kind of the Manchester markets and things. It just feels a bit more. York feels special. York's always a special city to me anyway, given its age and its history and stuff, and it feels more festive.
Right.
Often to me.
I accidentally went through the Manchester Christmas markets once, but probably just before they became like a big thing.
Yeah.
So it was busy, but not like
chaos.
Nuts. But a couple of years ago, we went to that Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park.
Oh yeah,
that was mental.
Was it?
It was huge, and it was mental.
Do you want some cheese? Do you want to buy a rug? Try this port.
Yeah,
that seems to be the part.
And then there was like rides and stuff.
Oh really?
There was like a whole fun fair there, as well as the stalls and as well as the bars and that sort of stuff. Yeah, and we were there with our heavily pregnant at the time friend. So after a long day traipsing around London, so it was
great fun
experience.
There you go. Okay, well we've been sufficiently festive and we've been a bit Scrooge, haven't we? We've not exactly shown enthusiasm for the season, but we do have enthusiasm for the remainder of the show. So just to run through how things are going to be, you'll be familiar with this. We're going to go into the news in a little while. There are some older news stories in there that I think need talking about.
Well, one of them's 4 months old?
One of them's 4 months old, but it's been... there's a caveat to it, so this is the one I want to talk about, because it feeds into what might be another news story as well. And then we're going to go and talk about the World Cup semi-finals, and then we'll focus heavily on the World Cup final itself as well. We'll wipe away the tears from our eyes, and we'll talk a little bit about the Ladies World Cup too, and then we'll round up the show with a nice big juicy quiz for everyone to sink their teeth into. So, without further ado, let's take a look now at news from around the world of Rugby League. Okay, so we'll call it pertinent news from the last sort of few weeks of Rugby League since we last did a podcast, and we'll start with Widnes, Mark, where the Vikings and former England halfback Rangi Chase has been banned from all sport for 2 years after testing positive for cocaine. The 31-year-old was suspended by the Super League club in August after he failed a drugs test following a 36-8 defeat by Wakefield on July the 14th. The UK anti-doping agency said Chase had tested positive for benzocliogene, a metabolite of cocaine. The New Zealand-born player's ban will run until midnight on the 13th of July 2019. Chase won the Man of Steel award whilst he was at Castleford in 2011, a year in which he would later go on to represent England and earn 8 caps. Following spells with Salford and Leigh, he rejoined Cass in July 2016 but moved on again to Widnes in May, initially on loan before the deal was made permanent in July. Chase is one of 3 Super League players who tested positive for cocaine during the course of 2017. Now, apart from the opportunity to do a bit of Rangi Chase batting, which I think is old hat now, I included this because it is pertinent to the other players that might be facing a similar ban. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's the standard. I almost feel like when it was announced,
it was no news.
I thought someone had just hit repost on something from the back end of July, if I'm completely honest, or the early weeks of August. I was a little bit baffled because I thought this had already happened.
Right? No,
obviously,
it hasn't. It became official. It became official. Yeah,
confirmed. But it is what it is, and it should be. If this is the way these things are approached, then it should be consistent for Mr. Hardacre and Mr. Walker. And there you go.
That's right. We'll all hopefully start to learn a lesson. I think it does need a firm ban, and it does need to be consistently applied.
the debate goes back and forth constantly, doesn't it? And I'm still never going to be quite convinced that recreational drugs should carry the same weight of ban as drugs that you're intentionally going out there to cheat your opponents or what have you, or cheat someone else's place in a side or something like that. But
you see, by my logic, this is fair, because by my logic and by my way of looking at it, this is about right for recreational drug use, and my response to performance enhancing is see you later, champs. You've had your go.
I see what you mean. I just wish that people didn't feel the need to resort so quickly to recreational drug use.
Yeah.
And society was kind of not using it as a... Or even prescription drug use, to be completely honest. But yeah, it's a shame, because it's someone we all enjoy having out there, whether it's to watch his skills or bash him for the things he doesn't do quite so well or quite so consistently. But yeah, we won't see it now.
Okay. So we won't linger too long on this. Lee Centurion's second row, Harrison Hansen, has signed a new 2-year contract that will keep him at the Championship club until November 2019. He was the Players and Coaches Player of the Year in 2017, and also passed the milestone of making 350 senior appearances during this season. So, hell of a career for Harrison Hansen. Lee, of course, lost the £1 million game and were relegated from the top flight this season. I'm pleased he decided to stay and join the fight to get us back into Super League, said coach Neil Jukes.
I think he's still a Super League calibre kind of individual, if not, an 80-minute performer at that level.
Yeah.
But I think Lee have set down a mark with their recruitment and retention.
They certainly have, yeah.
And this is a player that's I've got a lot of respect and time for him.
I like Harrison Hansen. Yeah, definitely. Okay, to the other side of the world then, New South Wales have appointed Brad Fittler as head coach of the Blues State of Origin team for the next 2 years. The decision was made following a New South Wales Rugby League board meeting, and Fittler will now coach the Blues for the 2018 and 2019 Origin series. Fittler is a New South Wales legend, of course, making 31 appearances in State of Origin, and has earned 40 caps on the international stage as a player for Australia. He's also a well-respected coach, having had a spell at Sydney Roosters between 2007 and 2009 before coaching the New South Wales City side for 5 years. And most recently, he's coached Lebanon at the 2017 World Cup and has worked wonders for the Cedars, making them a highly regarded team in World Rugby League as they reach the quarter-finals of the competition, and he will now put his focus on the Blues.
This isn't your type, obviously.
No, this is, according to loverugbyleague.com, has made them highly regarded, but it's certainly brought attention to.
It might be the standard
spiel
press
possibly
release
so.
that they just might have used. But I think it's a good appointment. I think he's demonstrated that he can lead a group of players together. I think he's got all the experience and knowledge of winning at the top level. He was in and around that Blues side the last time they were a real legitimate, consistent threat of winning that series, and he's won everything in the game. So, and now he's demonstrated an ability to coach. I think he's a good choice. I'm not sure. He doesn't strike me as the kind of bloke who you'd want as a full-time club coach necessarily, but he seems like the kind of bloke who can bring the best out of people in a short sort of that sort of thing. He's got good experience to pass on in that environment, I think. And
I think so.
That's kind of how Queensland got back on the feet with Meninga, and I think this is the same sort of, for me, the same sort of deal.
Same kind of move, isn't it?
I hope it makes it a competitive
that's what
series with exciting half-back play and creative stuff down the middle from the Blues as well.
With any luck, certainly. Okay, Castleford have re-signed winger James Clare on a 1-year deal. The 26-year-old left the Tigers for Bradford Bulls in 2015 before spending last season with Leeds Centurions. He missed most of the 2017 campaign with a knee injury before scoring 6 tries in the final 5 games of the season. Clare said, "Cass is the club I've supported for my entire life, so to be back here and to have another chance to pull on this famous shirt is great." He's kind of come right around, hasn't he? James Clare was definitely Super League calibre even when he went to the Bulls. Has had a very unfortunate time with injury, but you would think coming back to Castleford now with the service that he's likely to receive,
I agree. I think when he left Castleford,
it was a bit of a surprise, really.